Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. So I told you guys that Cinderella Phenomenon had a second game. I am absolutely loving this already. I got to see the opening video and it was magical. I love the new art style and I cannot wait to get into this. From what I know is that there are no bad endings. There's only a good ending and a best ending for all of the guys. So, let's get into this. Oh, I'm excited. Let's see, after you've made a right choice, watch out for the right choice indicator. It can be turned off in the settings. Okay, well, whatever. Remember, good things come to those who wait until midnight. Ooh. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, there lived a princess. She was known as the Ice Princess, named for her frigid heart and unyielding coldness towards others. The princess shunned all who sought to help her. She was scared to go out into the world, so she locked herself up in her palace. Then one day, the Ice Princess became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse and was forced to go from riches to rags. As the princess struggled to come to terms with her new life, she met a very special man. The two endured much strife, helping each other overcome various ordeals. In the end, they emerged victorious. The special man thawed the princess's ice-cold heart and dried her dampened spirits. The two vowed to love each other for the rest of time. They lived happily ever after. But what happens after happily ever after? Alright, so of course, we are gonna go back with melody, which is how we had it before. Choose your path. Ooh. We're gonna go with Claude first. AKA Karma. The Chameleon Prince. Chapter 1. If I were you, I would give up now, Princess Melody. You ought to just surrender, darling. Oh, what kind of villain says darling? Melody, this is where you play along. I take a deep breath and force myself to glare at him. I will never succumb to you. I parry Claude's sword moments after he lands a blow on the edge of my blade. His momentary surprise fades into concentration as he rushes me again, sword raised high. Oh, they're so cute! This time, I am unable to parry, and when our swords connect, it is all I could do to keep my stance. Claude's face is inches from mine. A cocky smile lights his face, but his calm is unwavering. Use any means necessary to best me. I dare you. At this proximity, I can see the flecks of color in Claude's eyes. The flicker of golden light on gentle green. His eyes will always remind me of the forest. I steal my eyes away from him and glimpse the rest of his body to search for an opening. How shall I attack him? We are going to use the sword. Because this is a sword fight, not magic. This is a sword fight, and I will win with the sword, not my magic. Exactly! I do not need to trick Claude to best him. My eyes fall on Claude's arms. His stance is rigid and unwavering. It is a sign that he is trying to keep his whole body steady, and his defense is solid, but... I slide the edge of my blade against his sword and duck out of the way as he slices past my head. Claude's eyes widen as I lower my weapon to elbow him in the gut. My elbow barely connects before he takes a step back and grabs hold of my arm. A valiant effort, my love, but I'm afraid you found the wrong opening. As always, his cockiness is one of his weaknesses. I flip the pommel of the sword and grip it with my other hand, then aim it at his stomach. Claude releases my wrist and dodges out of the way. We both raise our swords at the same time and our weapons once again collide. I force myself to step forward, even beneath the weight of his sword. Then, arms shaking, I slowly slide my sword away. Oh my god, they have him doing his hand on his face thing. Ah! I love this so much! Claude's blade stops inches from my shoulder, but my sword is closer. I aim the point at his heart with a smile. Every time I put myself in danger, or in a dangerous situation, Claude pauses. That gives me the opening I need. And with that, I seal my victory. Claude sets his sword down and holds up his hands, a sly smile playing on his lips. Fair enough. It seems you have bested me today. But only because you cheated. I did not cheat! You told me to best you in whatever way I could, so Claude lowers his sword. Lowers the sword I have pointed at his heart with a carefree laugh. He takes a step toward, I think it's supposed to say forward. Suddenly, close enough, we could touch noses. You. The rest of my words fall apart when Claude presses his lips to mine, silencing me. For a few moments I stand frozen. The only sounds I can hear in the stillness of the forest are my own erratic heartbeat and the gentle flutter of leaves. Slowly I begin to kiss him back, moving my free hand to his back. When he pulls away, he is still somehow smiling at me mischievously. You said, seal your victory, but you know that a victory isn't sealed without a kiss. It's worth seeing you cheat just to see you turn that adorable tomato red. I didn't cheat! I watch as Claude leans down to pick up his sword. He winks at me. Yes, I know. All is fair in love and war, as they say. I groan at Claude's response. He always manages to say such things nonchalantly, without even batting an eyelash. I have just readied my retort when something breaks the silence of the forest around us. I hope we're not interrupting anything. I whirl in place to stare in the direction of the new voice. I am surprised to see Garland and Jurian standing a short distance away beneath a copse of trees? A copse? I don't know. Of trees. How long have you two been standing there? Oh, she's so pretty! Long enough to see the thrilling end to that match. I didn't realize that sealing a victory meant ending a battle with a kiss. I stare at her in horror. That was... I'm just teasing. Oh my god, Garland, you have facial hair now. I'm sorry, with the tiny amount of facial hair that he has, coming from my family background, because I am Japanese and indigenous American, on both sides, the men in my family have like a hard time growing facial hair, and that just reminds me of that. Okay. Garland smiles as he runs a hand through his hair. What a good day for a victory, though. One could say it was almost a birthday gift. It's not a gift at all. Melody earned this victory herself. The only victories I accept are the ones I earn myself. You see? I know Melody like the back of my hand. I would hope you know your fiancé like the back of your hand. I cannot help that my cheeks warm at Jurian's words. Even though I have been Claude's fiancé for the last few months, most people do not bring up our engagement so casually. Claude slides closer to me and wraps an arm around my waist. You really are so adorable when you're embarrassed. If you even begin to tease me, my sword will find your hand. Your threats are as sweet as your compliments. He smiles at me mischievously before stepping away and glancing at Jurian and Garland. I hope the two of you didn't come for a personal lesson. You know that I have an important matter to attend to, no? I stifle a sigh. I know just as well as Jurian and Garland that Claude has something he needs to pick up in town today. Most likely it's another gift for me. Claude plans to give me a birthday gift every day of the week leading up to my birthday. He did the same thing last year and the year before that. But this year, his first birthday gift was rather extravagant. I cannot believe that the bouquet of lilies he brought me yesterday had to be delivered on a cart. I wonder what kind of gift he plans on bringing by today. 6 days remain until my birthday, which means that the gifts will become more extravagant from here on out. It is usually the gift he gives me on my birthday date that is the most heartfelt and special, but I cannot help but look forward to his smaller surprises regardless. His efforts are always showy, and that is what makes them feel like Claude. Besides, he always puts so much thought into the gifts, extravagant or not. I turn back to the conversation at hand. The two knights are still discussing some sort of training regimen. The exchange goes on for another few minutes before Claude turns to me and smiles. By your leave, darling, I shall rush off to town to pick up your gift. I promise that you will absolutely love this one. Hopefully it doesn't need to be delivered on a cart. Or involve some foreign choir. Or a cake so large it takes 4 people to carry it up the stairs. You two are just jealous you didn't get to deliver those items yourself last year. That cake was made by the best baker in the entire kingdom, and that choir... I cannot help the laughter that escapes my lips. Claude abruptly stops talking to plant a kiss on my head. He gazes at me with a fond smile before shaking his head. Enough dawdling. I have to go now if I want to make it in time for our designated meeting. I promise I won't be late, Melody. He grasps my hand briefly before rushing off. I notice that in his hurry, he has forgotten to sheathe his sword. Claude, your sword! He lets out a soundless sigh as he sheathes his sword and rushes off, leaving me alone with the two knights. Looks like someone's got their head in the clouds. Doesn't he always when he's around the princess? The two glance at each other, some silent amusement flickering between them. Did you come out here just to spy on us? Of course not, Your Highness. We were on our way out of the palace when Princess Melanie stopped us and asked us to deliver a message. A message? The princess requires your assistance. With what? She didn't provide any details, unfortunately. If she didn't explain what it was for, then it is highly likely that it is about that surprise celebration she wants to throw me. But is it still a surprise if I know that it is happening? Garland and Jurian glance at each other for a few moments, some hidden message conveyed in their gaze. Garland claps a hand on Jurian's shoulder with a smile. I'll escort the princess back. I'll meet up with you before the hour's up. Jurian puts her hand over his, but only briefly, before she nods at him. Don't be too late, otherwise I'll start eating without you. Garland slides his hand off of her shoulder as she turns to walk away from us. Once she is out of sight, the two of us begin our walk back toward the palace. Garland stops when we arrive at the gates. He turns to me with a bright smile. Here we are, Princess. Oh. He looks at me quizzically. I just noticed you didn't have a knight escort with you today. A few weeks ago, I was able to convince Father that we no longer needed an escort in the forest. I feel it is better that way. It feels more special when it is just Claude and I there. Besides, I am the Tenebrarum bearer, and Claude is a talented swordsman. We have nothing to fear when we are together. No, the king should be able to fill you in on that situation. Garland looks at me thoughtful, then he nods. Princess Melody should be in the dining hall. Is there anything else that you require? Nothing that I could think of. You're free to go back to your date. Aww. Garland flushes a crimson red that makes me laugh. Despite how discreet he and Jurian try to be, it is very easy to see that the two of them are courting each other. It has been that way for the last 2 years. I narrow my eyes at him. How goes the matter Claude and I discussed with you? Have you spoken to Jurian yet? No, not yet. Garland shakes his head, eyebrows furrowed. The timing doesn't feel right. I'll propose to her after your birthday party or your wedding, but right now we need to focus on security for both of those celebrations. You two are hardworking to a fault, you know. It's an occupational hazard, I'm afraid. I shake my head with a sigh. That dedication is what makes Jurian and Garland two of the most competent knights we have in Angiel. After I excuse him, he bows and then turns to walk away. I am about to walk in through the front gates when he suddenly calls my name. Oh, Princess Melody, did Prince Claude say anything about when his brother was scheduled to arrive? Oh, right. I had nearly forgotten that Claude's brother Lance is supposed to arrive the week before our wedding. Claude insisted that he come as late as possible. He should be here at the beginning of next month. Garland looks at me for a few moments, a troubled expression on his face. Is something wrong, Garland? It's nothing. Garland smiles before turning and walking away. I watch his back, contemplating calling him back. Instead, I find my thoughts turning to the last time I mentioned Lance. You've been sulking all day. Is something wrong? I sit beside Claude on my bed, my hand resting on his knee. He stares out my window, his gaze glassy. You would laugh. I would laugh at you anyways. Claude's lips quirk slightly before he angles his head towards me with a sigh. If you must know, it's my brother. Lance? Yes, Llama. I raise an eyebrow sharply. What about him? Did he write something strange in his last letter? Not so much strange as annoying. He proposed visiting Angiel 1 week before our wedding for a preliminary celebration. I fail to see the problem. The problem is that it's Llama. He attracts unwanted attention wherever he goes. You've met him before, you understand what I mean. Last time I spoke with Lance was nearly a year ago. He and his mother came to visit Claude and Angiel and brought everyone in the palace a terrifying amount of gifts. He was a lot like you. I am offended, darling. We are nothing alike. I am radiant like the sun, and Llama is... I am radiant like the sun, and Llama is a magnet. He has a way of stealing the spotlight, always. You're worried he'll steal the spotlight from you? Claude looks at me disgruntled. I'm right, aren't I? Not at all. I'm worried he'll steal the spotlight from you. I slide closer to him. Claude, I will be fine. I do not crave attention like you do. Crave attention? Me? Yes, you. Do not deny it. But you... I put a finger to his lips. You already give me enough attention as it is, and that's all I really need. Claude pulls my hand away from his mouth and gently kisses my palm. He smiles a little sheepishly. If you insist, then I'll write back to my brother and tell him he could come early. I just hope you won't regret this decision. Lance has been very popular in Angiel ever since his first visit with his mother, but no matter his magnetism, he certainly won't distract the townspeople from a royal wedding. I am sure that Claude must have something planned for the weekend, or for the week before the wedding, and he just does not want Lance taking anyone's attention away from it. It will be fine. You sure about that? I shake my head to clear my thoughts before turning my head back into the palace. The hallways are bustling with activity when I enter. Many of the gathered servants and maids stop chattering as I approach. At ease, aren't you all supposed to be on a break? Princess, we were just enjoying our break outside. I glance around at the gathered staff. I'm certain that these people do not usually take their breaks together, even if they do happen to share the same off times. I see. Have any of you seen a Melanie? The princess is in the dining hall with the royal chef's princess. I thank the maids with a little bob of my head before making my way to the dining hall. The dining hall is just as lively as the hallway, if not even more. Appetizing scents waft through the air, mingling to create an overly, hold on. I have never seen this word in my life. What? Just hold on. Okay, what is this word and what does it even mean? Having a pleasantly sharp taste or appetizing flavor, or pleasantly stimulating or exciting to the mind. Piquant aroma. Okay. I guess we learned something new. I spot a Melanie amidst the crowds, testing colored liquids in different chalices. She raises a chalice to her lips just as I arrive before hurriedly placing it back on the table. Oh, Melody! You look guilty of something. Not at all. I glance around at the different chalices. Melanie's shoulders droop with defeat. I was trying different cocktail concoctions for your birthday dinner. It was Claude's idea that we mix something completely original for you. Oh my god, the artwork for Melanie in this game is so nice. She's so pretty. I mean, she was pretty before, but she's prettier now. I was debating what type of cocktail to make for you. Strawberries and bananas? Something with cucumbers and lime? I feel terrible because I don't know what your favorite flavors are. That can't be helped. I don't think I've ever spoken about my preferences with you. Still, I must make certain that this drink is perfect. She gestures to the various chalices, then points to one at the far end. It is filled with a white blue juice and has a familiar creature sitting on top of the glass as decoration. Aww, that's cute! Well, if this was Claude's idea, then I am not surprised to use the chameleon to decorate the chalices. Years ago, when I first met him, Claude enlightened me with stories of his childhood. Apparently, he has a special attachment to chameleons. Sometimes, when the two of us are practicing together, he even refers to himself as the Chameleon Prince. He says that he did it so we could have matching titles, but Chameleon Prince and Ice Princess do not match at all. I stare at the chameleon topper. And is this birthday celebration really for me, or is it for him? I have actually been trying to come up with a name for it, but I haven't thought of anything yet, so I thought it might be nice for you to choose it. It will be distributed in the marketplace after we unveil it at your birthday, after all. What? Claude insisted that the populace have some way to celebrate with you. Since we're going to distribute it in your name, I thought I'd ask you what you wanted me to call the drink. A name for the drink? The chameleon. Even if it is very dramatic, this was still thoughtful of Claude. Since he's been working so hard for the celebration, he ought to be celebrated a little too. since it is no secret that he adores chameleons. The chameleon? And Melanie looks skeptically at the drink, then bursts out laughing. I guess that makes sense with the little chameleon on the glass, but wouldn't that make the drink more Claude's special cocktail? I see no problem with celebrating him. We could play a little trick on him during the unveiling. He'll never see it coming. And Melanie puts a hand to her cheek and grins. I'm sure he'll love it, Melody. And, oh, what sort of mixture do you want for the drink? I am not picky. Feel free to choose what you will. Really? Are you sure? And Melanie looks at me uncertainly. Are you still trying drinks, Em? The familiar voice makes us both whirl in place. Oh, hello! Rod stands behind us, lips quirked into a small smile. I step back without realizing. I am still unused to Rod's changed height, especially with his quiet demeanor. It feels almost like a contradiction. He scowls at me. Oh my god, he still has that same look. Is there something on my face? You cast a shadow. Aw, you're terrible. And Melanie just giggles. Then she claps a hand on my shoulder. Anyway, thanks for the help, Melody. I actually had a few more questions to ask you, but I need to figure out this drink before the end of the hour. Rod, you should help me. You want me to help you taste drinks? We could be the royal test drinkers. I don't think nobles test drinks for other nobles. The two of them continue their back and forth banter for a few moments. I watch with amusement. I have tried my best to mend my relationship with Melanie and Rod over the years, and even though the bonds we share are not as strong as the bond they have with each other, our relationship is no longer strained. I think I'll leave you two to your taste testing. I have to meet Claude soon. He insisted on meeting me in my room before he has to run off to a lesson with his history tutor. He's picked up on GL's history fairly quickly, especially since he just started recently. And since I convinced him to stop hiding from the tutor. And Melanie is staring at the chalice with the chameleon topper thoughtfully. I wonder what sort of gift he'll bring today. Hopefully it's not a choir or some gigantic cake with enchanted candles. There's no way to know with Claude. The surprise is part of the gift. Well, do let us know what it is once you get through the wrapping paper, if it's small enough to fit in wrapping paper, that is. I nod my head with a smile. The three of us trade quick farewells before I walk out of the crowded dining hall and back into the corridor. I have barely managed a few steps into the corridor before someone collides with me. The impact pushes me down to the ground. I'm so sorry! The man holds out his hand to me. My humblest and most sincere apologies, Princess Melody. Please allow me to help you to your feet. I glance up at the man and frown. I am about to respond to his apology when I pause, noticing his gentle features. It is impossible not to recognize him. This is... Lance? I stare at him in shock. The light of the sun is angled just right on his features, making everything on his face gently glow. My earlier agitation disappears completely when I behold his smile. Nice to see you again too, Princess Melody. And once again, I am so sorry. I continue to stare at him, eyes wide, his apology barely registering in my mind. You're not supposed to be here for another month. That I am not, yet here I stand. Oh my god, they are exactly alike. He continues to smile at me jovially. There is an explanation for this, I promise. He gestures again with a hand, a clear insistence that I take it. We're gonna refuse his help. I gently push his hand away and move to stand on my own. I am fine, thank you. I had better not give him more reason than necessary to shower me with attention. I stand and brush my dress off briskly. I notice emotion out of the corner of my eyes and stand up to see Claude striding towards us. He moves to stand beside me, a tight smile on his face. How rude it is of my brother to knock a beautiful lady over. I'm afraid all I can do in this situation is offer a heartfelt apology. Lance smiles a little sheepishly before he turns his full attention on Claude. Well, that was a little awkward, but... His smile widens into something somehow both shining and gentle. Nice to see you too, Karma. Llama. The few people that are in the hallway, including a few of the servants, pause briefly to glimpse at Lance as they pass. They smile when Lance makes eye contact with them. Last time Lance was here, he had a similar effect. He has a way of sparkling. Claude does it too, but on purpose. I did not think it was possible before, but I'm fairly certain Lance sparkles without meaning to. Lance's smile fades slowly. I apologize for not writing in advance of my arrival. Father insisted I come early to surprise you. By showing up an entire month early. Yes, exactly. Last time I visited with Mother, we ruined everyone's schedules. Father figured that if no one had any time to plan, I wouldn't be imposing as much. That is not very sound logic. I've never met Claude and Lance's father, but sometimes I cannot help but wonder what sort of king he is outside of the stories I hear. No, it's not sound logic, but it is something Father would do. He likes surprising people. The two men look at each other for a few moments. Lance looks noticeably uncomfortable with Claude scowling at him. The silence is stifling. I clear my throat. It is good to have you here, Lance. Does my family know that you are here? Oh, I already met with King Gennaro and Queen Ophelia earlier. Wait, King Gennaro is alive? I was on my way to visit Princess Melanie and Prince Rod when I bumped into you in the hallway. Oh, and I happened upon Commander Garland earlier. I was watching one of his practices. Perhaps Garland met Lance earlier, and that is why he mentioned his name. Did he want to keep all of this a surprise? Lance smiles again. I heard that your birthday is in 6 days, Melody. It will be an honor to attend the celebration. And it will be an honor to have you there, Lance. Oof. Claude still looks agitated by the conversation. Claude is always unreasonably moody when his brother visits. He tells me that it is sibling rivalry, but sometimes I feel it runs deeper than that. I had hoped to catch up with you two, but I don't want to interrupt any of your plans. Claude sighs beside me. He seems to deflate a little, but some of the earlier tension I sensed in him fades away. He smiles at Lance. The sight puts me at ease. As much as I want to catch up now, I have an engagement. 2, in fact. I steal a quick glance at Claude's hands and realize belatedly that he holds a colorful box in them. Is that the birthday gift that he mentioned earlier? It is surprisingly small. I figured as much. This is what happens when one shows up unexpectedly at another person's doorstep. In that case, I'll make myself scarce for the hour. If you have the time to spare after your engagements, I'll be in the dining hall. I hear some sort of celebration planning is taking place. He gives a slight but elegant bow before walking past us, still smiling his gentle smile. It begins. What? The llama takeover. Aren't you being a bit dramatic? He is your brother. I'm dramatic because he is my brother, and I know him. Claude sighs. I'll have to rearrange the schedule now to make sure he doesn't accidentally change any of my plans. Plans? Claude shakes his head slightly before smiling at me mischievously. Plans? Whatever are you talking about, Melody? I nudge his shoulder, but he just laughs at me before setting his arm on my shoulders with a smile. Shall we? The two of us make our way down the corridor into my room. Thankfully, there are no further incidents in the hallway. By the time we get back to my room, Claude is noticeably more at ease. I take a seat on my bed as he shuts the door behind him. The day's climax is at last upon us. There's no choir involved in this, is there? Last year, I sat down on my bed and a choir started singing a birthday song in the garden outside my window. No choir, this is much better. He sits down beside me and hands me the box. His eyes are glimmering with excitement. Claude's excitement is just as much a part of the gift as the gift itself. He always looks so happy when he gives me something. And his happiness is contagious. Are you going to continue to make me wait in suspense? I thought this was my gift and not yours. Don't be like that, love. You know how much I enjoy seeing your eyes light up when you open a gift. I glance down at the little box that is now on my lap. It is wrapped in vibrant red, gold, and green. A small card on top reads, "To my betrothed on her special birthday week, you are my compass, even in darkest times." Aww. I flush a little as I pluck the card off and set it aside. Betrothed. It is still so strange to think that we are engaged. Everything feels as it always has. It feels natural. I eye the ring on my finger as I carefully unfold the wrapping paper. You could just tear the paper, you know. I enjoy making you wait in suspense. You do like to tease me, don't you? I laugh as I pull off the wrapping paper and then slowly open up the box that Claude has brought for me. Aw, that's so cute! This. I take the first plush out of the box and stare at it. It is fuzzy and almost completely black with red eyes, and yet somehow it is cute. And the other plush, I take it out and gaze at its dress and face. It has a lily necklace hanging from its neck and glass slippers on its small feet. I can immediately tell from the hair who it is meant to be. It's me, and I stare at the black beast plush, startled. You? Claude laughs, looking pleased with himself. But why would he make himself out to be a beast? You look confused, but certainly you must realize that this gift is based off the Beauty and the Beast. But you... Look, I even gave myself a crown. I furrow my eyebrows at him. You don't really think you're... a beast? Claude's lips curve into a gentle smile. In the past, yes, but for now, the beast is just a plush. Don't you think it's cute? I glance down at the beast plush again, my fingers on the crown. The past, I lean against Claude's shoulders and hold up the two plush toys so that I can see them side by side. They are adorable, Claude. I love them. I wrap my arms around his waist and settle my head on his shoulder. Thank you. Better than a choir or a large cake? I debated combining the two this year, you know. I suppose if I had to choose. No, wait, don't tell me. You might just break my heart. I grin at him and he wraps an arm around my waist and plants a kiss on the top of my head. I love everything that you get from me, no matter how small or how grand. I eye the rose locket hanging around his neck and smile. Claude notices me looking and puts a hand to it. More than 2 years ago, he had a rose tattoo by his heart. Now he calls the rose locket his heart. I would get you the whole world if I could, but for now, I hope you don't mind settling for these smaller gifts. I'd never be able to fit the whole world in my room, but I can fit you in here at least, and that's probably the most important thing. Probably. Melody, I am offended. I laugh and he leans down to plant a kiss on my smile. You really won't let me skip out on my lessons today? I could think of much better things to do with this time. He raises an eyebrow at me, but I just slide away from him. A Prince of Angiel needs to know his kingdom, doesn't he? Claude stares at me after that, his expression growing surprisingly somber. For a few moments I see a glint of melancholy in his eyes. Then he stands up abruptly and fixes a smile to his face. Of course, and then there's also my kid brother to attend to. I will go speak with Lance, so do not worry about him. Once again, Claude's expression is sullen, but the look is only temporary. He leans down to take my hand, then places a soft kiss at its back. In that case, I will see you later, my love. He smiles at me one last time before heading out the door. I fall back on my bed, holding the two plushies to my chest. I hold up the Beast plush and sigh. That uneasiness I felt just now was my imagination, right? The Beast plush does not answer me. I set the Beauty and the Beast plush toys down beside each other on my bed. For a few moments, I look at them thoughtful. Eventually, I move to exit the room and turn my thoughts to brighter things. Oh, that was so sweet! Karma and Llama, Chapter 2. But oh my god, that was so sweet! Man, I wish somebody would do that for me! But actually, I'm gonna stop it here because this is actually a very good place to stop this episode. So, if you liked it, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!